BlackBusinessList.com and BBLTV. Welcome to another edition of the BBLTV Money Show. And of course, we're joined again by Mr. Ron Garnett of Garnett and Associates. We're going live today, guys. We're live and we'll be talking, having conversations about business topics and about business funding. And we've got Mr. Ron in the house. He's an expert, right? He knows how to get you funded. Mr. Ron, how you doing today?
I'm fine. How are you, Steven? What's going on?
Perfect. I'm perfect. Doing well. All right. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this show started. So whether you're watching us on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know you're watching. Even if you're watching the replay, go ahead and drop a comment and, be hospitable to us and let us know you're watching. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know so we can get you funded, because that's the number one. That's the number one goal we have here today, is to make sure if you need money for your business that you get funded, right? We don't play games. We're going to make sure you get funded. So we're going to go ahead and play the intro. We'll be right back. You're watching the Money Show, BBLTV Money Show on BBLTV. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Yes, Mr. Ron, it's Wednesday, it's September the 15th.
Okay.
Challenging week. How's your week been?
Challenging. As always.
Yeah. Hey, but we're here, and that's a blessing. And so, guys, those of you who are watching us again, this is just the live stream we put together every Wednesday. Most Wednesdays at around 12 o'clock, 12 noon, just so that as you're getting your lunch and you're out and about, you might want to just tune in, especially if you own your own business, or if you're thinking about starting a business, or, truth be told, you can use these funds that Mr. Ron has for a variety of different purposes, not just for business. However, since the majority of you watching are members of BlackBusinessList.com, I want you to know that if you need money for your business specifically, you can apply at BBL.Cash2Fund.net. Very easy, very simple, quick little application to fill out. So, and we've got Mr. Ron here to answer any questions, because a lot of times this is a very sensitive thing. People are like, I don't want to apply because I don't want to be turned down, or I don't want it to affect my credit. And so we want you to understand it's a very simple process. Doesn't affect your credit because it's not a hard credit pull. And so Mr. Ron is here to answer all of those questions that you might have. So we're trying to be entertaining at the same time. It's lunchtime. So we're going to talk about, what are some of the common things that people encounter in business? And a lot of times, having access to capital could just fix it. A lot of things are a quick fix if you got the money, but if you don't have the money, it could. I wish I had a blow up sound, like it could just blow up and become like a huge deal when you could have just simply taken care of it real quick if you had the cash. Is that something that's true statement?
Yes, that's very true. As I said before, is that when you got money in your pocket, you got a different perspective. You walk better, you talk better, you walk a little bit taller. Problems that might be problems are not problems for you anymore. Now, one thing I want to talk about, and maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it anyway, is that a lot of business people, especially black business, it's a black business list, when they apply for funding, shoot themselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
By that, I mean they have two conflicting goals here. One, they don't want to pay taxes. They want to get money for funding. And I think I told you off the air, banks are the ultimate gold diggers. They don't mess with no broke people, okay?
Yeah, right.
I mean, so if you have an accountant and you are looking at funding,
Mm-hmm.
and you send in your taxes and say, I lost $5,000. I didn't make nothing. You go to a bank and say, well, I want funding. They're going to say, well, you broke. Why should I lend you money? You don't have a way to pay it back. You done lost the money you had before. Why should I throw good money after bad money? And what happens a lot with me is that my clients will say, well, that's not really true. I really made $70, $80, $90, $100,000. I had one client made $1 million. But my taxes showed I made $5,000 or $20,000.
They're not showing the income. You got to show the income.
You got to show the income because
right.
A bank is going to look at what you said you made, especially if you're self-employed. Your taxes, your adjusted gross income is what you made.
Yeah.
And if you said I didn't make anything, they're going to say you didn't make anything.
You're not profitable.
You're not profitable.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right?
so it's a tension there.
Yeah.
But I always tell clients, and I say it on the air, banks think just like you do. If some bum walks to you on the street and say, lend me $1,000, what you gonna say? You can say, get out my face.
That ship ain't gonna sail. Okay, hold on for 1 second, Mr. Ron. We got somebody backstage, Tracy Adams. She's gonna join us. And look at it. She got a serious look on her face. I'm gonna see if she crack a smile before I put her on the screen, because this is 12 o'clock. And this is the money show. I gotta see. She can give a smile. Let me see. Let me bring on this. How you doing, Ms. Adams?
That's a smile.
There you go.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm well. I didn't expect this at all, but I'm good.
But see, that's what we try to be. But that's the truth. I mean, you don't look the way yourself when other people look at you.
Mm-hmm. So true.
I'm looking at myself on this TV camera. This is not the face I saw when I woke up this morning and washed my face. I said, I'm a much better looking person than I am on this TV show. This picture's distorted. I don't look like it.
It'd be lying, Mr. Ron. You do. You look good. You look good.
But I don't know if it happened to you. It happens to me all the time. You ever go in a store and they got these security cameras on there where I know I walk in, I be standing in line, or I say, who's that fat guy in line? Wearing the same clothes I'm wearing. I'm looking around, and then you raise your hand and say, oh,
that is me.
That couldn't be me. I look much better than that guy on camera. So when you look, when applying for funding, it's not how you see yourself, it's how this funder sees you. And if you tell somebody, I got this business and I didn't make any money, I'm broke, I had losses, but I need $100,000 to expand it, they're going to say, well, come on now. I mean, you couldn't be serious because those taxes are what you said you made. Like a W-2 is what your employer says they paid you. But if you're in business, you file 1099, but you file taxes. And they just look at adjusted gross income, zero. That's what you made, or $5,000. So why would they lend money to somebody who is broke.
Don't look good on paper. Yeah.
And so, and you can't say, well, that's not really true, and wink and say, well, you know, they're going to say, well, you're going to wink about paying me back. So, because the funders, I'm talking about uncollateralized loans, where if somebody lends you money, if you don't pay them back, they got to hunt you down and try to get money back from you. But if you are broke, you can't get blood out of a turnip or a rock or whatever.
I think a lot of people don't realize when it's uncollateralized, you know, that's a whole nother level of risk that people are taking on. And so, you got to look good on paper. But before we go further on that, I want to go ahead and bring Ms. Adams on. I want her to introduce herself to everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself and what brings you here today.
Well, I'm Tracy Adams, and I come to you from Wichita, Kansas. So I got an email just recently, like 5 minutes ago, and said we're going live. And I thought, when are we going live? There's no time on this. So I just thought I'd come on here to see what time it is. But I'm the founder and CEO of Hawthorne Capital. We're an investment and wealth management firm here in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
So.
All right.
So when does this go live? And I see I'm live now, but how long does it run? And
2:15 or 12:15 it went live.
Yeah. So
Oh, I see. Time, okay.
You're live now.
So we're live right now on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So our BBLTV YouTube channel. So so you can get definitely and do me a favor and put in the private chat your website so I can share that on the screen and let everybody know how they can reach you too. So tell us a little bit about the type of ideal the type of ideal client that you're usually looking for in your business.
Well, we look for clients that are open to advice, and I say that because everybody's not a good fit for what we do. Hawthorne Capital is an ESG advisory firm, and we specialize in working with women and executive women in C-suites or on board. So we deal with the professional services women. We have outliers, of course. Women come with spouses sometimes, but every time that we sit with someone, we want to know if we can work together, meaning that can the client or can we be on the same side of the table, and can we work together to a common goal? A lot of times you're working with folks that think they know everything, and I'm just going to be honest, and so they're not necessarily a good fit. So we always look for a good fit. We don't necessarily look for a minimum investable assets, but we do look for companies or people that are a good fit for us.
Okay, great. And here's the website right here, everybody. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what Ms. Adams is into at Hawthorne Capital. So this is the money show, guys. So, we want to get you the money, and then after you get the money, you need to go ahead and talk to Ms. Adams so she can help you out.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for the shout out. I didn't expect all this. I just thought I'd check it out and see what was going on, and I appreciate that.
Hey, well, you're a part of the BBLTV, the BlackBusinessList.com family. And so that's what it's all about. Whenever you get an email and it says that we're going live, that's going to be an opportunity for you as a member to come on and get some exposure for your business. That is a perk of being a member. So that's definitely something you can always look forward to.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah. So what else we want to talk about, Mr. Ron, real quick? Look, you know what? This is a good spot. We're going to take a break real quick, and we're going to play a video because Mr. Ron is doing a master class and a blueprint strategy session for folks who are trying to get funded. So we put a little video, so we're going to play that, and then we've got a really good caterer out of the Savannah, Georgia area, and we're going to give them a little love on the show, and then we'll be right back, and we're going to talk a little bit more, get into some money issues. All right, so we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned and hang tight.
Did you miss business funding expert Ron Garnett's latest masterclass? He delivered a session on the business funding blueprint, how to gain access to capital. There were a ton of details covered in the session, which includes The blueprint to funding that will save you time, money, and energy. Everything you need to know about personal credit. Details that funding sources are looking for. The key differences between business and personal credit. And key details that you need on your funding application. Ron has opened his calendar for limited strategy call slots for entrepreneurs, investors, and professionals to gain insight on funding and access to capital. To book your session while slots are still available, please visit his website.
Hey there, family. Have you been looking for some tasty Southern-style food that you don't have to cook yourself? Including some fried chicken, ribs, barbecue, salads, and custom cakes, and more? Pick up a menu today from the Glover's House. They offer deliciously prepared Southern-style food for any occasion. They use only the freshest ingredients and make everything from scratch. Maybe it's time for you to start planning your holiday meals. Or maybe you just want to order for your home or office. Whatever your catering needs, they've got you covered. Contact the Glover's House today and let them surprise and delight you with their mouth-watering Southern-style food. Boy, that tastes good. The Glover's House. All right,
feels so good, you know.
Oh man. Well, I tried some. You know, we did that event down in Savannah, and they were the caterers there, and yeah, you could just every morsel of rice just has so much flavor. Just the rice. I know you can cook when every single morsel of rice tastes good. Now
I want to say I'm glad that Miss Adams is on the show because what I do is not what she does. What I do is get people money, but what I've talked to you about in the past is that I can manage money for somebody because when I get money, it's unsecured money. Whether it's $15, $20, $30, $100, $150,000. You go to $400,000 unsecured funding. I'm out of it. They put the money in your account. Once you get our fee, it is your money, and you got to manage it. And what I try and do is I try and impress on my clients that funding is a long-term, not a one-shot deal. And that you got to be serious about it. Now, I didn't really get into doing it, but a number of people got the PPP money or the money for the EIDL loan. But those loans were very SBA document-driven loans.
Regulated, yeah.
Yeah, you might be hurt by COVID-19, but you had to show the documentation that you were hurt by COVID-19. You had to have the tax records. You had to have the payroll records. You had to show where my earnings was this and it went down because of COVID-19 or say they did. Just walking in there saying, I got hurt by COVID-19, they said, well, forget you. You didn't get the money. And as I said before on other shows, about 40% of all Black businesses went out of business because of COVID.
Let me ask you, Ms. Adams. I'm hearing an echo. I'm somebody. Okay, it's good. Now, did you get any increase in business after everybody started getting those funds in, those the PPP loans, and did you have people that came to you and said, "Hey, I've got this lump sum of money," and
No. But there's a reason, because you have to document where that money went, and it can't be given into a wealth management firm. And so there were stipulations around that anyway, that they could not, you couldn't even have been an investment firm on the docket to get those funds. So there's a reason. I wouldn't have taken it anyway, because that would put them in a bad position. But our business did go up because there's just a lot of money out there available for people wanting to.
Now I will say something also is that, and I don't have any data on this. It's just what they call things I have seen. When they first got started under President Trump, there were rules, there were no regulations. Money was just kind of flowing out there to people. I'm reading in the papers now, it might be anecdotal evidence, a number of people are getting audited now to show, well, where did this money go? Where was your business? And some people have gotten arrested and indicted for not being able to document where that money went to, because it was given to people, especially the EIDL loan, that's the Emergency Disaster Relief money, for people who got hurt by the pandemic. But then the government came back and said, okay, we gave you this money. We fumbled the ball because we didn't look at all the documentation that was required. Now show us. And if you don't have it, the burden falls on you because you got the money under false pretenses. Every time you get anything from the government, you got to sign some kind of document under penalty of perjury, as far as I've ever seen. Everything. So if you cannot show where the money came from, and people had asked me about it, but one, if you assisted somebody in getting one of those loans, you had to sign for it too. Sign your name. And I was not sufficiently close enough to anybody where I wanted to get into their business and whatever to say, well, I can verify these documents, so forth and so on. The people I knew who got it already had the document, so they didn't need my help. It was people who were kind of half working, might have had a business, looking for a free ride, who came to me, and I said no, because you always got to pay the piper sooner or later, because the government is now auditing all of those people, especially the EIDL law. So what I'm saying is that you've got to be serious about getting the money. You know, when I did the master class, I did a whole session on, before you apply for this money, spend $30 and get a good credit report to see what's on there, and take care of it before you apply for the money. Now, I'm a broker, and the company I'm working with, we don't turn anybody down. We don't say, well, no, we're not going to give you the money. What we do is say, you can't get it now, and give you a blueprint on what you have to do to get the money.
Let me ask you a question. I think it's very, I'm believing more and more the older I get that things don't just happen, right? Like things are connected. And so the fact that Ms. Adams, tuned in to join us here today, and by the nature of what she does and by the nature of what you do. So Mr. Ron, you're able to give somebody, I remember I've got a friend of mine who's in wealth management, and he deals a lot with folks that have like a large sum of money, and they're like, hey, I've got this large sum of money. Tell me, how do I, what's the best move to make? And so, Mr. Ron, you can actually give someone a large sum of money at one time. Once you qualify for one of these loans, you can get, let's say if you had $50,000. Now, Ms. Adams, if somebody came to you and they had $50,000, they say, I have a lump sum of $50,000. What would be some of your advice to them in terms of, how could that actually help set them up for, a strong financial future if they have could you help people through that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we would start with a plan, and we're goals oriented. And so what do we want to do with the money? What is it earmarked for? Is it for retirement? Is it to start a new business? Is it to buy a new boat? We start with goals first, and then a timeline. And so I've had people call me, unfortunately, they want to flip $50,000 in a year and they want to double it. Well, first of all, you'd be very speculative and it'd be a hard task to do. So I probably would not take I wouldn't take that bet for them. But it just depends on what that money was earmarked for and how we put a plan in place to be able to accomplish that and the timeline. Time is always, the velocity of money and the time, the rule of 72 that shows you how long it takes you to double your money. And so we use all those calculations and whatever our goal is. Like I said, it just depends what that money's for. Everybody's frozen for me.
Uh-oh. Well, it seems like there's some synergy here. Like I think I see some type of programming that we could actually put together to where a person who maybe you're, Jay Morrison. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Jay Morrison, but he's a guy, a very dynamic individual in the Black community. He started this place called the Black House, a Legacy Center, and it's a crowd-funded. It was funded by
out of Tulsa.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
is he Tulsa?
He started the Tulsa Real Estate Fund is what he started. That's the name of the crowdfunding. So he has this concept that everybody is the CEO of your last name, of your family, right? And so what we need in the Black community are strong families. And so if you're the leader of your family, whether you're, father, mother, whatever, and let's say you don't come from a strong financial background, but if you get yourself together where you can get one of these loans from Mr. Ron and some direction about what to do with these funds, that could be a come up for a family. Like we could get a family set up to have a very strong, because a lot of times that happens when someone passes away and they get lump sum from like a, insurance policy or something like that. But if we could say, hey, look, you give us a year and we're going to get you funded, get you a lump sum of money. And then we've got somebody who's going to help you invest that money so that you can have a strong future. I see that as something, we can get some people to kind of, buy into that concept.
Well, I will say that the loans I'm talking about, I've offered a lot of different loan products, but these are unsecured loans, which means that once you get the money, we're through with it. You do what you want to with it, right? But your idea is that if you have a family member, for example, and you got one person with good credit, they might get $100,000, and other people chip in to pay it back, but they take the $100,000 and go to somebody like Miss Adams and say, well, we don't want to get rich quick scheme. We want to have a solid investment so that we taking care of our grandchildren and so forth and so on. Something that is solid, because a lot of Black people I'm shooting my mouth off here. We're trying to get something overnight. And once you get it overnight, you fall for all kind of schemes and tricks and things where you invest this money and in 2 or 3 months, you doubled your money. Our people have asked me about it. And I said, well, who am I giving the money to? And I will say this. If you are investing money in something and you have to go out and get other people to invest money for you to get paid, that's always a danger sign for me. Because I don't know a whole lot of people I can go to and say, give me some money like that. And I'll give it to somebody else and you could double your money. So they're going to look at, well, I'm not doing that. That doesn't make any sense to me. I tell you what I always do. My sister is the most skeptical person I know of in the world. And I figure if I can't sell it to her, I can't sell it to nobody. If she'll buy it, I'll go. But I haven't found one she would buy. So I mean, now, I mean, there are a lot of ways you can. I'm talking about trying to build money for a business, but also generational wealth. If you're working for a company, and you might be an executive, and you might be making $300,000 a year. Once you retire, your children may not have anything. I mean, they're stuffing in McDonald's, working the minimum wage job. If you own your own business and put that effort into your own business, your children have something they can step into, and their children have something to step. It's about generational wealth, and that's what I think most people who have money in this country have generational wealth. I think Michelle Obama made a comment on her, her Netflix show, is that she had met with all these people who were powerful and rich, and they had these positions. Said they don't know how inherited. Most of them inherited that position. They didn't do it. Nothing that they did. They were born into. Like every Rockefeller or Kennedy or DuPont did nothing to get that money. Somebody started off, but they had enough foresight to say, I'm going to build something that's going to be generational. And you don't do that by accident. I mean, you got to go to somebody like Miss Adams or someone like her to say, well, let's put a plan together. How do I take care of my great-grandchildren?
I'm gonna tell you right now. So, and you can learn. There's a couple of ways you can learn. All right. Now, sometimes you learn the hard way, and there are some things I'm learning the hard way. And so, I always knew that I had to prepare for certain seasons in my life, right? But just it can get away from you sometimes, and then you look up, and then I'm here, right? So we're in the place now where I'm very attuned to the fact that we need to get ourselves ready for retirement, right? Because I look at, my kids, and I look at, the way their lives going. I don't want to be a burden on anybody, right? You want to make sure that you're straight no matter what happens. If I have to be put inside of assisted living, I want to be able to just have everything laid out, because I don't want my kids to have to decide anything. I don't know what they're going to decide. So well, go put that roll daddy over in the corner and he'll be all right. I don't know. So I want to take control of our future, right? And so if you haven't been the type of person that's been saving for, since you were a young adult, this is another application for your loan, Mr. Ron, because then you can actually give a lump sum of money. Because I'm looking through Miss Adams' website, and that's what she does. Like whenever you get in a situation, you got this lump sum of money. Okay, what do I do now? How can I, get the best case scenario for saving on taxes or whatever, wealth creation for the future? So I think there's a lot of synergy between you two, and I really am interested in putting something together to where, if a person is interested in my future and my family's future, and I haven't done what I was supposed to do up until now, there still might be a way for you to put together a financial legacy for your family. And so I think that this is something that we need to look at, because I'm pretty sure there's somebody out there who's not selfish enough and forward thinking enough to say, if I get this lump sum of money, I'm not going to go out and, go to, Cozumel or one of those any of those places, or buy the Mercedes Benz or whatever, but we're going to invest this money for our future. So I think that there's people out there that would be willing to do that. And so I'm interested in talking to you guys about putting together something like that, and then marketing it. So you can kind of create your, kind of like a do-over. I haven't been saving up until this point, but I'm in my 40s or, late 30s or whatever. And I'm thinking about how I can kind of correct, some of that stuff. I don't know. That's just me. I'll let you. What do you think, Miss Adams? Am I on the right track here, or what do you think?
Absolutely. And what I say about, since I'm on this call on the Black Business Call, our community has been void of this kind of intel being passed down from generation to generation. And in my experience, I've been doing this since 2012, a long time. I know that our community, we talk about politics at our table, we talk about food, we talk about religion, but not necessarily do we talk about wealth creation and then passing down legacies. And so I feel like though we may be late getting to the table, we all still have more time, we're still breathing. And people always ask me, when do I start today? And how much do you start? As much as you can, but you just have to get in whenever you come to the news, come to the awareness that you need it, that's when you start doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just have to.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. The do-over plan.
Yeah, the do-over plan. You know, and
I like that.
And you know, as I said, the unsecured money doesn't have to go for a business. A number of people for these loans end up in stressful situations, such as a family member dies and with no life insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And you heard the term passing the hat. That's where you go out and have to scrape together money to put them into a funeralized situation that doesn't make you look bad, rather than in a pine box. that's all. So people always say, that's all you cared about, mama. That's all you cared about, dad. That's all you cared about, aunt so and so. And a number of these people, my commercial says that if you want to play that a number of people use these loans to bury somebody because they have a plan. We don't have a plan, and it would be great for somebody, say family members, to get together and say, let's all get together and borrow $100,000, $200,000 unsecured. We all get together and pay it back and invest the money to build legacies for our family. Now, here's one thing you could do. I mean, I've never known black people to do it. I've known white people to do it. Where there's a community here outside of Augusta that they all will all pool their money and get a family member who's like maybe 50 or 60 years old and buy a $2 million life insurance policy for that person. They all pay it, and they all are beneficiaries. So when that person passes, they all split their $2 million. Then they have another person who they'll designate. And there's a community here. If you drive by their community, I've driven past the community. Every house has to be at least 5,000 or 6,000 square feet. Space, and they don't even work. They just basically get the money, buy life insurance policies, and the only reason I knew about them, how they make this money, is that I knew a friend of mine who's the insurance agent, and he was selling $2-3 million insurance policies all the time to this same community, but they would all pool their money. They might be paying $300 or $400 a month each. Wow. But they knew one thing: that person's gonna die eventually. And when that person got away, we were guaranteed $2 million, and we all got our share of $2 million.
I have to get me a bodyguard.
So, if you're the desperate person, you better watch what you be eating now.
Wow.
But I want to say something that, so to be the insured, you don't have to be the owner, and so companies can own life insurance policies.
Yes.
Funded and then the beneficiary can be whoever you want to be, and you can still use a life to insure. But the owner could be a group, a pool of people. It can be, the insured and the owners could be totally different, and the beneficiaries as well.
That's true, and that's what they do. That's how they build wealth, generational wealth.
So that is a very interesting statement, because they're passing the hat anyway. So if we're all going to have to pool our money together so we can bury Ray, we could have insured Ray Ray on the front end and put some real planning behind it and really advanced our family's situation, as opposed to, okay, we got to scrounge up some money because we got to bury Ray Ray. We already know Ray Ray gonna pay. All of us are going to, meet the same end. So let's just think, and I think it was Mr. Ron. I think you said, no, I think it was you, Ms. Adams. You said something very true, and I've told my wife this because my wife has actually planned our family's, her side of the family's family reunion. And I said, we come together and we make sure we got the games that we can play and all of the fried chicken and the watermelon and the this, that, and the other. But why not have set aside some time and have somebody like Ms. Adams come? And if you got questions about your retirement or whatever, it might be a buzzkill. Hey, we're here to have fun and to see each other, but it's a time when the whole family is together. So I always saw it as, hey, we also just have, even if we came together and pooled our money for a family scholarship for one of our kids who are, is excelling in school and they might need a little help, there's a lot we can do when we come together as a group. So, that's just some of the thoughts I had about stuff like that.
What Ms. Adams said is that as Black people, we have never been taught to think about financial future. We were all taught, go to school, get a job, work your job, and be satisfied with that. We were never really told, work for yourself. Try, it's hard, but that is how you really create wealth. You create wealth by owning something. And it's a joke, but I think Chris Rock said that if you're rich, you can lose that in a weekend in Vegas. If you're wealthy, no matter what you do, you still make money. Martha Stewart went to prison for insider trading. And she was in prison, Martha Stewart Enterprise was being run. And she made more money when she was in prison because people knew what she was selling. It helped her business. And she was wealthy when she went in. She was wealthier when she came out.
When she got out.
Mm-hmm.
That don't happen for us.
That don't happen for us. You in Atlanta. I don't want to throw stones at anybody, but Michael Vick had a $100 million contract. He got in trouble for killing some of his own dogs. That's basically what happened. Animal cruelty. He went to federal prison. He lost $100 million. The owner of the team, Arthur Blank, he owns Home Depot. If he goes to prison, he don't miss a beat. So you're still going in there buying lumber and nails or whatever from Home Depot. That's the difference between being wealthy and being rich. What we need to understand is we need to build wealth. And, money's available for you. I said it's unsecured money. You can put it into your business. If you put it into your business and you make a profit, you don't have to buy the biggest car in the world and drive it around. You ain't got to have a Rolls Royce. I did a study one time on self-made millionaires. What is the most popular car for a self-made millionaire? A Ford. Because they don't want to put their money into something that's going to depreciate. So they said, well, I want something that's going to appreciate. So I might have they don't have the biggest house in the world. They don't have the biggest car. They don't have the Rolex watches all the time. I know people who are millionaires. And walking around looking at them, they are not walking around in Gucci suits. They don't have super watches, but they got 7 figures in the bank somewhere. They could put their hands on $1 million if they wanted to, needed. Mm-hmm. So,
facts, as the young people say.
Yeah, facts. I'm glad I was on the show because we have talked about having somebody on the show who for weeks now about
Yeah.
somebody who did financial management to tell people how after they can get my money, they can do something with it. I told the story before. I've known people who in business, were successful. Next thing you know, they walk around in a suit, big car, expensive rings and watches, and are out of business in 6 months because they pull that money into flashy stuff and not what they needed to. We need, as a people, to get serious about our money and our future. I think I said in this last show, nobody is coming to our rescue. Nobody's going to say, well, hey, Black people, we're going to help you out of the situation you may have been in. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen in Reconstruction, didn't happen after slavery, didn't happen in the 20s, didn't happen, it never happened so far. I mean, we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule. What we got was the Freeman's Bank that a white man drove to the ground and lost all our money. So it's time for us to be serious and say we need to take care of ourselves.
Well, you know what? Thank you guys. I want to thank you guys. Oh no, well, sometimes we need preaching too. I mean, it's just, yeah, it is what it is. And I want to thank you guys for inspiring me, because I'm always looking for, a man is supposed to, man and woman, excuse me, I don't want nobody, don't send me no emails. People are supposed to find their work, right? What am I going to contribute? And so all of my life, I personally understand what happens when you don't have a mentor, or when you don't come from people who are highly educated in money and how to do business, but you're ambitious, but you don't have a mentor. And so you stumble, you make a lot of wrong decisions, bad moves. And so it's my work and my mission to try to help people who want to help themselves, but they just, they don't have that helping hand. And so again, there are many people out there. I tried to sell insurance early in my I think it was in my 20s. And I remember talking to young people in their 20s saying, you need to invest in a life insurance policy for your family. But they came up with all these other things that they wanted to do with their money. And so now the fast forward, and now it's harder maybe, or it's more expensive for you to get insurance because, your health is not the same. Or you didn't start to save money for your child's college, or, there are all these things that come down the line, and we know as a benefit of getting older and being wise and having experienced it. And so now I'm like, you know what? We can put together these things to help people. They're not going to really maybe understand some things. And so how can we package it and put it together so they can get it, and we can start to change the financial reality of African Americans. And another thing that concerns me, I'm a technologist, I'm a coder, I'm all that stuff in technology, and it scares me because Black folks are not preparing ourselves for what's coming in terms of the workforce. For those people who don't see the value in being an entrepreneur, and you're relying on jobs, what kind of jobs are you going to have in the future when automation and all this other stuff takes over? Like right now, some of those commercials I didn't even voiceover actor. And the technology for all this stuff is getting better. So we're eliminating cashiers. We're eliminating a lot of different jobs. And if you're not up on that, you're going to be in a world of hurt. Your family's going, and then you haven't been investing. You don't have a concept of, preparing yourself in terms of wealth creation. People are going to be hurt. Or they're going to just be barely existing. And so, true. I think those of us who have this knowledge, we got to package it up. However, we got to package it up. A lot of people doing master classes and courses and things like that. But we got to get this information out because people are going to be hurting, and they desperately need Tracy Adams, and her knowledge that she has. And they desperately need access to Ron so that they can know oh, I can get a loan. I didn't know I could get a loan for this amount of money. Put my hands on this amount of money. And then we got to train them, because when you get it, don't blow it. Don't do crazy things. Guys, when I first got my first manager job, when I was a manager, I was a retail store manager. Couldn't tell me nothing, right? Boy, I was made that's the most money I ever made in my life. And I was like, okay, I've made it. Like, wow. And so I went to this place, the car place, and I don't even know how we were there. But I was there and I saw a Benz. I saw a Mercedes Benz. And I said, man, that's a nice car. And so I was just saying that to myself, and the hawk, the salesperson, saw me looking at the car and was like, oh, you like that? I'm like, yeah, it's a nice car. He's like, you can get that, right? I can't get that. You know what I mean? This is my first time being a manager. I done made it, but I'm like, nah, I probably can't get it. I was driving a Ford Focus at the time. He said, well, let's just run it up. Let's just see what happens. You might be surprised. And so ran it, came back. It was like, boom, this is what you need. You can get the car. You can drive out with it. Really? Right? So I'm enticed. So now I'm enticed by that. And so we got to train people. Like, look, when you start, especially young people, like my daughter, she's a teacher now. She's starting to get adult money. Like, she's been struggling all her life, with these little small jobs. Now you're getting adult style paychecks. What are you going to do with it? What's the first thing you're going to start doing? You're going to start investing? Or you're going to start thinking about, so we need to train people. And so you guys have inspired me. There's a lot of products that we can put together with you guys' knowledge that just bless people.
And I want to say something that Ms. Adams mentioned about family, and we talked about, you only need maybe one or two people in the family. You don't have to know everything. Trust them and have a family meeting maybe once a month to where the money is. And you can get the money, pool the money, and start investing and start building a legacy for everybody. And what you said is right with Stephen is that I'm an adjunct professor at a local college, and I got thrown into a class on international business, and because the teacher who was supposed to teach it, left or something. And one thing I remember about that course, it's in the textbook. If you're working in the United States in a labor-intensive job, especially manufacturing, your job is in Bangladesh, it's in China, it's in Chile, it's not the United States, because those jobs are gone. Yeah. Manufacturing jobs, unskilled manufacturing jobs are gone. You got to move to India or Pakistan or China to get those jobs. If those jobs are around now, you don't have them. So we got to look at what the future is, and I'm thinking is that self-determination is what I think is the best thing. And as I said before, if you are a Black person, nobody's coming to your rescue. Nobody's going to help you. We better help ourselves. We better take control of those reins, because if somebody else is making decisions for you, it's going to be in their best interest, not in your best interest. Not in your best interest. And you get thrown aside. I mean, as soon as you're not useful, happens every day. I mean, if you're a sports fan, you could be the greatest player in the world, hurt your knee, and they don't use you anymore. The contract is voided. I mean,
that's right.
They'll tell you it's not business. I mean, it's not personal. It's business.
It's business. That's what they say. All this loyalty, team spirit, and whatever doesn't mean anything until you need somebody, and it's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, robots, automation is just killing jobs. I mean, some jobs don't even exist anymore, such as,
that's right,
like secretarial jobs are almost obsolete. But, I mean, you can talk to a computer and comes and print it out right then. Why need a secretary
to
type it? And you can hit spell check. But I got a thing on my computer that we will rewrite it for you. If you use bad language, they'll say you should say it this way rather than that way.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, guys, it's the metaverse. I've said this in my LinkedIn video yesterday. Study the metaverse.
Yeah.
And Facebook is investing heavily in the metaverse, right? And it's going to be like this augmented reality experience. They already got a product they released called Workplace. And so you can basically be sitting there and you're communicating like what we are, these rectangles on the screen. We can be in a virtual space and I can turn this way and look at you and you can look at me, but it's our avatars. And it seems weird, I know, because I'm of a particular vintage, so people who are of a particular vintage, we're going to look at it and think that's a little weird. But these young folks who play video games all the time, it's not as weird. And so I say in about 10 years, the same way everybody, think about how fast some people didn't know about Zoom, but then COVID happened and now everybody knows how to basically get on a Zoom call. That's a year or so. It's going to be rapid advancement and rapid adoption of this thing called the metaverse and augmented reality. Because I'm excited myself. You can put on an Oculus, a Facebook Oculus, and instead of actually having to go to France, I might say, hey, tonight, baby, you want to go to France? And we put on our headset and we're just in France, but virtually. So people are the same way everybody loses themselves in their cell phone. When you go to a restaurant or a waiting room and you look around and everybody's got I'm trying to get up my pocket. Lord have mercy. Okay. So everybody's got their face buried in the cell phone. And we can remember a time when nobody even had a cell phone.
Right.
But now everybody has a cell phone. That's how this virtual reality stuff is going to be. We may not do it now, but it's going to be it's just going to be overwhelming in terms of like, man, you in the metaverse? Yeah, meet me in Paris tonight. We're going to have lunch at this restaurant in Paris. And so people are just going to really be into it. And there's going to be a lot of money that's made. New age digital money, right? We're going to have to let go of this old school stuff. If you know how to make chicken wings, that's great. We still need to eat. So go ahead and make your chicken wings. You can sell your wings. But we need people who are thinking about technology. What is that going to mean for Black folks? How many Black companies are going to be involved in the metaverse? It is an inclusion issue. And we need people thinking about this, because we're just going to get the scraps. If we don't get ahead of it and be thinking about it now, we're going to be way behind, just like we usually way behind everything. And it's going to be terrible, just terrible. And it's going to be harder to overcome because all of the jobs are going to be digital. Like they don't need you. Rich people don't need you to do X, Y, and Z anymore. They had a robot to do it. Like, I can have my, I'm telling you, so anyway, I get it. Excuse me, y'all.
Okay.
Y'all gotta, I get passionate about this stuff. But yeah, guys, I guess, anything else in the closing? We're going to go ahead and close this live stream out, but anything else you want to mention about what you do and how you can help folks and how they can contact you?
Ladies
well,
first.
I appreciate the opportunity to talk. I didn't plan for this. I thought, well, let me just go on here and see what time it starts and all that. So I'm available to help. I feel like what I do is helpful, and I know that it is essential to growth and wealth and stability, because what we're seeing is we're seeing another wealth shift through the pandemic. We're seeing another wealth shift where money is moving out of a certain sector of the community into another sector of the community. And of course, I want my family and my community to be a part of it. So I'm a part of the BBL because I believe in it. But we're here. Hawthorne Capital is available to service and to advise. We do a lot of teaching. We're certified financial educators as well. And so we do a lot of teaching, and we love to share what we know and do to the community.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm glad you're on. Because Steve and I have been talking about having somebody like you on for a few weeks now. You just happen to fall into our lap, so we're glad, we're glad you're there. And well, my name is Ronald Garnett, and what I do is I'm a commercial finance consultant. I help people get money who can't get bank loans, which is about 80 to 90% of the people in the country right now. Money is available for you. Don't get worried about being turned down. If you can't get it now, we will give you a pathway to get funding. And the money is unsecured, means that once it goes in your bank account, you can do whatever you want to with it. You could start a business. You could go see Ms. Hawthorne and say, you know, I want to put $10,000. I got 50. I want to put $10,000 in. I guess I mean numbers that low, but or somebody to you know, try and build. I mean Adams. I'm sorry, Hawthorne Capital to you know, start a future for me and put some in every month or something like that, and build a future for myself and my children and my great grandchildren, so that we have control of our own destiny. Someone's not telling you what your place is, what your spot in society is, and what you're going to do. Because once you do that, you always are going to be the bottom. You're always going to have people on top of you. Always going to have people on top of you. And we need to be serious about this. When somebody comes to me for money, I say, we need to be serious about this. It's not a one-shot deal where you get money and go out and blow it. You get this money to make money. Don't get this money
to make money.
To buy, you know, to just do something with it. Use this money to make money. That's the number one thing I'm trying to do.
All right. Well, I think we're going to end it there. That was excellent. That was excellent. You know, I'm excited. Hopefully, Ms. Adams can join us. You know, often, and I'm going to be in touch because, like I said, I think there's a lot of synergy here, and I want to create something so we can have those conversations. If you guys are open to that, you know. So, but guys, we're going to go ahead and end the live stream today for the BBLTV Money Show. Thank you for watching our live stream. And so we're going to go ahead and end the show for today. I'm going to play my outro, and join us every Wednesday around noonish, okay, 12:15, and we go live. If you have any questions about funding, if you have any questions about wealth creation, now that we've hooked up to Miss Adams, she's a BlackBusinessList.com member. And for you all who are members of BlackBusinessList.com, you need to go to this website and you need to dig into this directory. I know the majority of you added your business and you kept it moving, but we're building a serious organization of serious business people. I invite you to go to our Facebook page and join our Facebook group. So this is where we're going to really be doing the heavy lifting and really sharing information and becoming one as a group. There's almost 2,000 of us. So imagine the power of us all working together and creating like what we did here today. So I invite you, for those of you who are already BlackBusinessList.com members, start to engage, show up, contact each other. Many of you have discounts that you offer other members. And we're going to do a better job of letting you know what those discounts are. Because you might be missing out in terms of, you know, perks that you get from being a member. So, but thank you for joining us. And we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to help you succeed. And so we appreciate you. And thank you, Mr. Ron Garnett and Miss Tracy Adams, for joining us. Guys,
thank you.
See you next time. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it. I love this outro. I just love it. But anyway, it's got a little jazzy beat to it. Okay. All right, guys. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.